Hey guys, what is up? Now that the holidays are over, I feel like everyone's been posting those like perfect IG pictures of the perfect family, the perfect relationship. Here's the new love of my life all over social media. And this is for the person who is probably stalking their ex, which please refrain from doing this. But I am talking to the people who just have this question in their mind, like, why does my ex actually get to be happy? Why do they get to move on? Why do they get to live their best life? And I'm over here suffering completely. I think this rings true, especially during the holiday season. If you are single, if you are alone, and you know that your ex actually is in another relationship, maybe they are actually flaunting this person all over social media, and it just really gets under your skin. So I want you to challenge this question. Like, why do you actually think that this person is happy? Why? Because they post some pictures all over social media claiming that they're happy? Why? Because they have a smile on their face? There are plenty of people who are miserable and depressed and put a smile on their face, and you have absolutely no idea. They're able to play this character, have this facade, and the whole world thinks that they're living this best life, and deep down inside, they're actually not feeling that way. No one actually knows what's truly going on. Now, if you're dealing with an ex who maybe is narcissistic, you are dealing with the ultimate actor or actress. So this person is always going to be able to play this facade, play this character, and you are taking the bait. This person is always going to prioritize their image and go to really great lengths to make everyone believe something that isn't real. They're never going to be real. They're never going to admit when they're struggling, when they feel something that's uncomfortable. They're just not capable of that. All they're capable of doing is showing facades. And even if you're dealing with someone who isn't narcissistic, most people don't want to admit that they are struggling. Most people don't want to admit that they feel something uncomfortable, that they're not living their best life, because we live in a world of sunshine and rainbows, and people don't really enjoy feeling the uncomfortable things that they have to feel sometimes, hence why we have so many problems in the world. Someone who is really deeply unhealthy, they're never going to truly be able to be happy. Their definition of happiness is very surface level. So can they be happy? Yes, they can. They can on a surface level. You are not a surface person. So when you see someone out there living their best life, they're living it based on their terms, not on your terms. How sad that someone's definition of being happy and living their best life is something that is very surface level. It's not something that's deep. It's not something that you're actually looking for. They also can never truly appreciate what it is that they have. They don't value things in the same way that you or I would value something, because they're always chasing the next best thing. So they can never really be content in life, which means they're never going to value what it is that they have. While some people may be able to experience happiness in the moment, it's important to be able to distinguish a person who can feel genuine, sustainable happiness versus someone who's just getting external validation. Someone who is unhealthy, whether it's narcissistic or whatever, you don't even need to label it. Someone who's unhealthy is always seeking external validation, because that's how they feel happy. They need the admiration. They need people looking at them in a certain way. Like, that's how they feel good inside, because they're not able to sustain happiness themselves. They don't even understand what it truly means to be happy. True happiness comes from empathy, comes from emotional connection. It comes from positive relationships. It comes from internal fulfillment. Someone who's unhealthy is always going to struggle with those things because they don't even know what they mean. They don't have empathy. They don't understand internal fulfillment. They don't have positive relationships. All the relationships in their life are people that unfortunately are unaware of who they're in a relationship with and are either enablers or someone that's giving them all that external validation that they need. And eventually that's going to wear off, because no one can be responsible for making this person happy, because they can never truly be happy. So this person who's making them happy is going to get frustrated, resentful, and exhausted over time, because they can't sustain that for that person. So that's when the relationship starts to build resent, and that's where a relationship will start to dissolve, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship. Now, here's the really important question, because I can give you all the facts all day long of like, look, this person's not going to be able to be happy. And I know there's going to be some people in the comments that are going to say they can be happy. I've seen them happy. They are happy. they're not. They are surface level happy. You can never truly be happy if you lack empathy and are not able to validate your own self and emotionally connect to your own self, meaning you don't really have a sense of self. You don't really know who you are. So you can't ever be happy if you don't have those three things. But the real question is, and I know that this is going to probably sting, but why do you care? Feeling this like desire for this person to suffer really has to do with you. I know that this is a complex thing, and I'm not going to give you the obvious, oh, this is just your ego talking, even though we all know that it is, but let's go a little bit deeper than that. The reason why you want this person to suffer is because you've suffered. Obviously, it's because you were hurt. They betrayed you. They were not the person that you wanted them to be. They were unfair. They mistreated you. The list goes on and on and on. And because you've suffered, you want someone to feel that level of pain because you think on some levels that that's going to make you feel better. Hence the ego. If you haven't fully processed the end of this relationship and you haven't really accepted what happened, then yeah, you're going to have unresolved stuff that's kind of just lingering around. And that's what builds that ego, that anger, that resentment to want to kind of either seek revenge or make this person suffer or get frustrated while they're out like living their best life. Like all those things are going to start to come to the surface because you haven't dealt with some of the things inside. Those negative emotions is what's really causing this manifestation of wanting this person to suffer. When you've dealt with how you feel, and not that you're okay with it, not that you'll ever like fully be like, yep, that was okay, I'm glad I went through that. No one ever wants to go through pain. And obviously we can sit here and I'll be the bigger person and say, well, I'm so glad that I learned that lesson and that was amazing. But if we could have avoided pain and this person making us uncomfortable or them hurting us or betraying us or whatever that looked like for you, if we could have avoided that, absolutely, we would have taken a left instead of a right. But we couldn't have avoided it. It is what it is. This is what we had to go through in life to probably learn a lot of lessons and heal a lot of things. Actually, not probably, definitely. But the grief and the resentment is just lingering, and that's what's building all of this like pain inside of you that wants to make this person suffer because you're suffering. I think sometimes we feel like if this person gets cheated on or someone breaks up with them, then it validates our own self-worth in some way, even though it doesn't really, but in our minds, we think that it does. Like, it'll make us feel better because now we're on even playing fields. Now, like, you're not out there living your best life. You didn't get everything that you wanted, and I'm the one here suffering. See, now we're both suffering. Definitely, if you have a lack of closure and questions are not answered, I know for me, because I didn't really have closure and I had to really create that for myself, and I had to understand what it meant to be okay with not getting the I'm sorry and be okay with not ever fully getting the answer to a question. Like, you're never going to fully get that answer of why did this person do this. I can give you all the logic all day long. I can tell you exactly why this person did this, but is that going to be enough to soothe your heart? And that's where closure really comes from yourself, because you can know all the reasons why things happen, but is that going to really be enough to help you move on? No, because you're going to keep asking the question, because it's no longer the mind that wants the answer, it's the heart. And the heart doesn't have logic. So the heart's never going to fully understand why this had to happen, because it doesn't think like that. All it does is feel. It doesn't really think about the logic of why something had to happen. The bottom line is that this person is never going to fully be happy in the way that you're capable of being. You're capable of having empathy and deep connection. And quite frankly, that everything that you do want in a relationship, this person was never going to be able to give that to you. We all know that, but you really need to remind yourself of that constantly. It's also a huge part of asking yourself this question or getting really frustrated and just wanting this person to suffer is because of the unforgiveness that you have and not understanding what forgiveness and closure really entail. Once I really understood that this is what it entailed, this is what it was supposed to look like, and that it was my responsibility to do it for myself, and that I didn't need the I'm sorry. And I hate to tell you, when you get the I'm sorry, if you ever do, it's not going to help your heart. It's going to give your ego a little boost for like 2 seconds, but it's never going to take away all the pain that you feel. So why do you need it? The last thing is, for me, when I understood that I was literally wasting time and energy obsessing about everyone else and making sure they suffered the way I suffered, that I took away from the energy that it was going to take to manifest the things that I actually wanted in my life. That became a game changer for me, where I was like, okay, now I'm going to start being very disciplined on where my mind goes, because I'm not going to give anyone or anything energy that I could be using that energy for something that I want in my life. So you guys, I hope this gave you some motivation. Please watch this again if you need this and if you're really struggling with this question, because I know during the holidays, New Year's, and whatever holiday you celebrate, just everyone's out there living their picture perfect family life, and it can be really discouraging sometimes if you're not yet where you want to be and you're feeling a little rejected, left out, or feeling like, okay, this may not happen for me. When that starts to really manifest and brew inside of you, all it's going to do is chip away at your self-esteem, and that is not how we're trying to start 2024. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on social down below. I hope you guys are well. Take care.